Hello ladies, it is me and it is Masterclass Thursday. I didn't forget you, I just had a hair appointment today, so I hope you guys like the new do. So today's topic is actually kind of building a little bit off of what we talked about the other day. I'm just gonna shut my phone off real quick so that way my husband or someone else cannot interrupt me, because you know, isn't that always the way? The second we sit down to do something, the phone rings. Okay. So ladies, I was talking the other day about different ways to get parties and different ways to get your business out there. And one of my favorite ways is to do like women's events. So like I said, I did a mother of twins exposition. I've spoken at colleges. So there's different ways to get into the community and talk about your business instead of just doing parties and presentations. It's a great way to get leads. It's a great way to get party bookings. And of course, it's a great way to get sales. So what I do in these environments, whether it's a chamber of commerce, whether it's a networking event, whether it's a college, whether it's a women's group, whatever it is, you go in and you talk for 30 minutes about sexual education, sexual health and wellness. And when you present that way, especially at a college, they're more likely to let you through the door, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a presentation, and I'm gonna give you some recommended reading after this. Now, I'm not gonna do my entire speech for you, it's all right here. I want you to write your own, but I am gonna give you talking tips. So that way you go ahead, you learn what you need to learn about these different topics, and then how you can apply it to a sexual health and wellness talk, and how you can end a sexual health and wellness talk. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna start at the end. So after I do my speech, after I do my entire presentation, I do let the people in attendance know that I do work for PureRomance and that I do offer an array of products from mild to wild, and they're more than welcome to get different catalogs and different information. They can shop. I always make sure I have my inventory with me out in my vehicle, so that way if they do want to shop, they can. And I'm going to tell you, I've done 30-minute presentations. I've had some of my best sales ever after these presentations, like better than a party. So I hope you guys, it works for you. Don't be afraid, feel the fear and do it anyway. You know, I was really scared to get out there and talk to people, but if you want to get over the fear really easily, go ahead, go to PureRomance and get that sexual health and wellness certification. You're going to take those classes and you are going to get a certification at the end. So it's going to give you that confidence to go out there and say, hi, I'm certified in this. And I would like to speak to your students. I would like to speak to the women in your group. I would like to speak to your book club, whatever it is you're talking about. All right. So that may make you feel better, but a lot of these places will let you do it without a certification, as long as you let them know where you work, who you work for, and that you are not going to be actually presenting products, okay? That's their biggest fear. They think we're gonna whip out big double-headed dillies or something, all right? We're not crazy. We're actually professionals. So ladies, I'm going to give you the outline. Again, my whole speech is written. You're going to see I actually do use index cards. I'm old school like that. Okay, so you can see on the back of all my index cards, I have notes. Because I want you to do the work. I want you to learn, because once you do this, you are going to have it in your brain, and then it's going to be second nature when you give the presentation. So the very first thing I talk about, ladies, is about me, okay? So who are you? How long have you been in the business? What drew you to the business? Why are you so concerned with women's sexual health and wellness? Why is it important to you? So one of the things that I always like to say in my opening speech is, you know, I really became passionate about women's sexual health and wellness when I had a client that was in her 50s, and she indicated to me that she had never had an orgasm. I wasn't even sure where to begin. And in my 20s, hearing that from someone in their 50s, it really made me sad. And I realized that information isn't out there the way it is for men, for women. So that's what got me, you know, into this business, what got me learning about it and passionate about it, all right? The next thing I talk about at my presentations is, what is orgasm? What is it exactly, okay? How do you achieve it? On average, how long does it take to have one? Okay, so we all know 20 minutes of stimulation. I'm giving you a little bit of cliff notes here. And then I talk about the sexual response cycle, okay? So I actually have a slide that I made you can actually get it yourself, guys, right out of the PureRomance book, Between the Sheets, that came in your kit, okay? It's a great book, and if you don't have it, get it, because it's right there. Or you can go on to Google and you can Google sexual health and wellness and the sexual response cycle. So I talk about the sexual response cycle. And so what I do, ladies, this is the key now. Ready? Are you ready for the key? So part of reaching the different levels of sexual, orgasm, and I'm sure you see me do this at parties, is our very first step is excitement, right? Excitement in this particular one, but excitement. So how do we get excitement? Foreplay. So I talk about foreplay. I talk about the types of products you can buy to help with your foreplay. So that's kind of how I tie it in with actually, without showing the products or specifically mentioning my products. So you could talk about, handcuffs and tickle and whips and games and blindfolds and all the different things in that section, okay? So desire is actually the first, for those of you that don't know. I'm doing the work for you. Can't help myself. Desire, excitement, plateau, orgasm, refraction. That's the 5 steps, okay? So what I do is I talk about the products in each section a little bit as I'm doing my presentation. So you could actually write your whole presentation around those 5 steps. So when I'm talking about desire and how women achieve orgasm, why it's important for them to have desire, to want to have sex, I may talk about how important it is to have lingerie, how important it is to feel beautiful, to make sure you take a shower, make sure you shave your legs, things like that. So it's kind of like a presentation, but it's also an educational process, all right? Then I talk about the top 10, and again, I use that graph throughout my entire presentation. So just remember that. I'm just doing this quick and dirty for you guys. The top 10 reasons to have orgasm. You guys can Google that. I will give you a couple. It's free. It feels great. It's legal. It reduces stress. It burns calories, and so on and so forth. The 5 different types of orgasms that women can have. And again, guys, you guys can Google this just like I did. You could read Between the Sheets, another great book where I got most of this information. And that's where I learned that lubricants with glycerin are not good for your back door, right? They actually are diuretics and can cause diarrhea, instantaneous flatulation, and all kinds of other really sexy things in the bedroom. So, I actually wrote to PureRomance when they asked on Live Love One recently about which products are they selling wrong, and that's a big one for me. Whipped has glycerin in it, and that is a laxative. So people shouldn't be showing it as a backdoor lubricant, all right? Next topic. So just to let me go through them again, because I know some of you guys are list makers. About me, what is orgasm? On average, how long does it take a woman to have one? What is the sexual response cycle? What are the 5 phases of the sexual response cycle? What are the top 10 reasons to have an orgasm? The 5 types of orgasm. Then I talk about the next one, which is clitoral troubleshooting. Very important, right? If you can't find it, don't know how to work it. How's it going to work, okay? So we're talking about clitoral troubleshooting. Then we're talking about growing your orgasm. So how buildup is important to achieve a longer, stronger orgasm. And then we talk about having trouble orgasming, okay? And some of the ways to resolve that. So again, these are topics, guys, you guys should be Googling and learning, okay? Thanks, Kenya. Okay, using lube, the importance of using lubricant and why it's important to your vaginal health as well as your sexual life. Kegels, how to do them properly and why they're important to your vaginal health. And then we talk about masturbation. Oh my God. Why it's important to masturbate. Some lies you may have heard when you masturbate when you were a child, like you grow hair on your palms or a kitten dies somewhere in the world when you masturbate. So debunking the myths is a really great one. And then after I talk about masturbation, I like to talk about how to introduce the toys into the relationship if they are in a relationship with someone, whether it's male or female. And I talk about ways to spice it up. Okay, so ways to spice it up. And again, some of the things you guys want to do, ladies, is talk about different sexual positions here. And again, mention, there are things out on the market like the love swing or the frequent flyer swing or the erotic positions pillow that helps achieve these different positions, especially if you have back pain. A lot of women that have trouble with intercourse have some kind of medical issue behind it. So anything that's going to aid them in that is very important, all right? Then we're going to talk about toys, okay? Brianna, oh my God. Okay, then we're going to talk about toys and how masturbation is healthy and how they can, I already said this, introduce the different types of toys. And I like to talk about the difference between dildos and vibrators, which most women don't even know. Then I like to talk about couples toys and toys for her, toys for him, branch toys, all the different types of toys that are available. You really want to educate them on that because a lot of people just don't know. I don't know about you, but the first time I ever looked at a catalog full of sex toys, which by the way was not PureRomance, I was scared and lost and I threw the catalog down and I couldn't even begin to know where to start. So next up is how to pick a toy, why shape is important, power is important, price point, sound, style, color, all the things that are important to people. So you want to talk about how to pick a toy. Your partner and the vibrator, different ways to use vibrators in your relationship. Let's see, vibrator antidotes. I always like to do that at the end. That's really fun. And then I like to talk about penis malfunction. Okay, last but not least, penis malfunction and how to help resolve it and how different techniques as well as products that could help their partner if they are having erectile dysfunction in any way. And that's really not last but not least. The other thing I like to talk about, because I'm missing some cards, because I actually have this on my PowerPoint now, is I like to talk about cancer and how to have enjoyable sex after you have battled or dealt with cancer or going through the chemo process. And obviously sexual intercourse with any kind of drug use, whether it's over the counter or illicit, right? Because that can cause vaginal dryness and different things like that. So ladies, I hope that gives you a great outline, a great framework to write your own educational speech and how to pepper some of the things we sell into that speech so that you guys can write a killer presentation that you feel confident about giving in the public eye. I really feel confident about giving mine. I could do it in front of a room full of businessmen or businesswomen and I would not feel weird at all because it's very sexual health and education orientated. So I promised you the books that I got the information from because when I first started writing this, of course, not all of this information was readily available on the internet like it is today. So the I Love Female Orgasm is a great book by Dorian Solot. She's actually a friend of mine on Facebook. she's a wonderful author and her and her husband wrote that book and you can friend her. She's amazing and you can find out how to get a copy if you can't find it on Amazon. It's called I Love Female Orgasm. The other book I love, of course, is Proudy Bisbin Between the Sheets. I mean, guys, you could just write a summary from that book alone and have a wonderful presentation. But I'm a big fan of getting as much information from different sources as possible. Like, for instance, one of the tips that I absolutely love in I Love Female Orgasm is not to tell your client to use booty ease if they've never had anal before. That would actually numb the area or make it less sensitive, and it could actually end up injuring them in the long run. Booty ease is meant for people that are comfortable with backdoor and want to make it a little bit more comfortable for themselves, not for the newbies. So it's a very interesting read and I highly suggest you read it. Of course, as I was just saying before, Between the Sheets, it's great. It talks about the sexual response cycle. It specifically talks about the products we sell and how they're beneficial to people in relationships. Another great book I absolutely love is The Joy of Sex Toys. I will tell you it is chock full of erotic stories too, so don't get sidetracked, Brian Banger. I almost said banger, I love banger so much better. But it's full of erotic stories, but it is also a wonderful resource about toys, how to use them properly. That is where I learned how to do the Kegel exercises properly, that I was actually trained wrong out in the PureRomance rule 10 years ago when it was going around, that you should actually be lying down and all these different things that I didn't know. So that's a wonderful read. Tickle is Pickle, Tickle Your Fancy, also wonderful books. I mentioned the other day the Lingerie Handbook. It's pink. It's got like a storefront on the front. You can get that on Amazon. So really anything you can get your hands on, that is a resource. Now, again, I really lean towards Patty and I Love Female Orgasm because those were written by doctors and people that are professionals in the field. And so was Tickles, Pickle, and all that other stuff and the joy of sex toys. But there are wonderful resources out there. You guys can build a very well-rounded sexual education talk around them. And I highly suggest you get out there and you educate people because that is a great way, as I shared with you earlier, to get bookings, to get party leads, and to get some sales. All right, so I hope you enjoyed those tips today. I hope you enjoyed the outline I just gave you. Yes, you have to take notes. Remember, I told you Tuesday, get that paper and pen ready because there's going to be lots of information always flying out of my mouth Y'all know I talk super fast and I'm usually on a time constraint because there's a baby sleeping or I have to go pick her up or whatever. So remember that. Always have a notepad and paper ready. If I were you, I would just station one right next to your computer so when you see me go live, you can get it done. All right. So I actually do have a few more minutes. If you guys would like to ask me questions about anything, it doesn't have to be about our topic today. I will try to help you as best as I can. I could take questions until 2:45 if anybody has any questions. You're welcome. I'm going to go through and just make sure real quick that no one had any questions already. So hey Jessica, hi Chelsea, hi Ashley, hi everybody. There's so many of you on, yay! Thank you guys for the pretty new hair. I went a little bit more, it's called lived in sombre, so it's more almost ashy and platinumy. I wanted to go a little bit Khaleesi for the fall, you know, Mother of Dragons. All right, let's see. I'm just going down, guys, see if there's any questions. Oh, dude, yes, our next meeting, Shannon, is the bus tour. That's our next meeting. So that's what we're talking about right now, the bus tour. And I don't have my schedule here because it's in the other room, and I believe it's, let me just look at my calendar, September Tuesday or Wednesday. I shut my phone off. Someone post it. I know you guys have it. It's the Tuesday or Wednesday after I get back from Nashville. So not this week, but the week after. Okay. Chelsea, I love that question. You know, I actually made a lot of contacts through network marketing groups. So go to meetup.com, join some local groups. You guys don't have to go really far out of your bubble, so to speak, to meet new people. I am a big believer in making sure you get to build relationships with people. When you build relationships, they're more likely to use you. Now, the way you would reach out to colleges, if you don't have any contacts there, is to write a letter to anyone that is a director in their sexual health and wellness program, if they have a women's studies program, that's a great person to reach out to as well. And the letter would simply, again, you want to think professional, right? You want to introduce yourself. You want to introduce the mission of PureRomance, which is available on the website, okay? You want to introduce and maybe include some links to some of the professional interviews Patty has done on, you know, all the different talk shows, and introduce what you would like to talk about, why you would like to talk about it, and again, why it's important to you as a sexual health and wellness educator. Let them know that presentation is free, that you just want to practice your presentation skills, and they're usually very open and warm about it. It's a really wonderful way. And sometimes you're just going to find people that are going to start asking you when you start mentioning it, okay? Because in my 16-second sizzler, I tell people that I'm a sexual health and wellness educator and that I do presentations. And I do public speaking, and they love that. And that usually opens that door as well. So I hope that helps, okay? Any other questions? I'm looking. Okay, good girls. Tuesday the 27th. You guys got it. Brienne, thank you. Great tips. I love female. I read it. Isn't it great? Oh, she comes first is wonderful. Oh, another really good one is wanting to want. Okay, know your audience. So if you're not at college and you've got a room full of moms, wanting to want is wonderful, because what is the number one problem of most women in their 40s and 50s? They don't want to have sex anymore, or they want to have sex but with themselves. They don't have it with their partner because your drive is dropping, or you know, maybe they didn't take out the trash that day, or maybe they are on medication, as I discussed earlier. So wanting to want is a really wonderful resource for all of that. So Dr. Ian Kellner wrote She Comes First. He has a series of wonderful books. And gosh, Madeline Castellanos is the other woman that wrote Wanting to Want. She's got a few books as well. And those are actually doctors that work directly with PureRomance. So those are wonderful resources. So great reminder, Brianne. Thank you so much. All right. All right, ladies, I've got 2 more minutes for questions. Any other questions? Oh, good, Kenya. Good, wifey. That's a good one. You better start reading it. And guys, I like to use the highlighter when I read them, right? Like, you know, everyone's like, I like to audible. I do too, and I do audible. I audible all the time. Like, I'm audibling right now Emotional Intelligence, and I'm audibling Sell or Be Sold. So like on my first 6 miles, I'll listen to, or 7 miles on my ride, I'll listen to one, and on the way back, I listen to the other. But I still like to get the hard copy so that I can highlight it up, and I can make index cards or sticky notes, or I write in my books. I know that's horrible, but if it's a business book, that's what it's for, okay? That's why I don't lend them out, because I've cracked all over them. They should be well used. You know, a doctor doesn't stop studying, right? We've talked about that before. A doctor does what, like 6 months? I don't remember what it is. 2 years of residency before he's actually allowed to do surgery. Guys, you guys aren't going to be party pros after shadowing twice. You got to learn as much as you possibly can. Okay, it's like going to college, right? The more you know, the more you'll sell. The more you know, the more people will love you. They'll stay with you for 13 years, like my clients have. All right. All right. Any other questions? We got 2 more minutes. None? No questions? All right, guys, if you don't have any questions, I want to thank you guys for your time. I am going to post this to our YouTube station as well as to the gems. And, you know, don't forget we have a YouTube station, guys. It is a great resource, a great place where a lot of videos are. So go head over there. It's the gems, PureRomance, Jenny Harrison. And I'll put the link up for you guys at some point this week so you guys have it if you're new. And I want to thank you guys for your time, taking the time to hop on this beautiful, is it Thursday? What day is it? Thursday afternoon. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.